All right, so let's get right into our day 2 lesson on serve and return domination at the 3-5 level. So if you're 3-5, you're in the right place. Again, this week is all about taking most of the skills you already have, not having to develop too much practice, but not having to develop too much new stuff and dominating at your level. So here's what I see a lot of 3-5s are good at, and also give you some things to avoid so you don't make mistakes. So what I want you to do is when you're serving, I really want you to work on your recovery. So as a 3.5 player, I don't think you should be jumping too much on your serve unless you're awesome at jumping and you can get a high percent of first serves. Instead, what I want you to do is serve the ball, bring the back foot around, land it, and a drill I want you to do is to actually put a towel in front of you and land consistently on there with your foot so that you know that you're not way off balance. I find that a lot of club players, they are out of whack. They're off balance and facing away from the court after they fully land because they over-rotate, then they're here, then the ball comes back and they're not ready. I want to make sure you serve and you're squared up ready. See that? That's super important. So you want to practice that, and then with the foot that comes around, you're going to use that and spring back and get into a split step. So make sure you're practicing that, not just hearing this tip. You got to practice that. Now, once you do that and they're good at that, with your first shot, okay, I want you to think about 2 different shots. As a 3-5, you should start to really get good at a continental grip. That would be one thing that if you haven't developed it yet, I want you to develop that yesterday, right? Work on that yesterday. So as the ball comes and it's returned, let's say, especially if it's more of a neutral ball or a ball that is forward in the court, I want you to chip it in cross court, or if the ball is coming deep like here or further back, as you back up, and if you're going to rip it with top spin, but high and heavy cross court. The thing I want you to avoid, which is really tempting, where I see a lot of mistakes made, is that you serve it in, the ball looks good, and you hit a fast drive low. 2 things happen here. A lot of balls go into the net, and mistakes, or if you're a little bit off with your racket face, they drive out long. So unforced errors happen all day long. And then if you hit the ball solid, the ball is going to bounce right into your opponent's waist. So yeah, it feels great when you hit that ball, but you're giving the opponent a really nice ball to hit. So that's why I prefer you either chip your first shot cross court, or and it stays low so they have to hit up, or if you're going to rip it, you rip it high and heavy and aim in the singles court. Really thinking, can I just get it in the singles court in between the service box and the baseline, not aiming for the line, just somewhere nice and conservative like that for your first ball. I want you to become money at that. I want you to go to the court if you have a ball machine and serve, and then practice that shot over and over again. It's such a simple thing to do, but most people don't do it, and most mistakes do happen in the first 4 balls. I've run a lot of camps, and once I let everybody start playing, I've seen how many points are lost within the first couple of balls, and a big part of it is not being recovered. Okay, so now the next thing that we want to think about is, as you're serving, especially a lot of 3-5s do have some strong serves. So if you have a strong server where you're able to get weak returns, you basically have 3 options that I want you to think about as you're getting your returns back. So you're serving the ball, it comes back slow to you or short, not necessarily slow, right? Option number 1 is you serve it in, and then you come on in and you strike. And most likely, if you're striking, you've decided that you're going to come to the net. Make sure you switch and get your continental grip before that next ball's hit. Okay, so you have the serve and strike option. I want you to be really careful about that and really honest with yourself. How many unforced errors do you make when you strike? The next one that comes, we've talked about a little bit already, is a chip and charge. So you get on up here, you chip and charge. Some I want you to hit deep on purpose. Some I want you to hit short. Just don't hit the ball the same every time. And your goal is to make them have to hit up at you and your partner so you guys can start to put the ball away. The third thing I want you to think about, especially we want you to run this more often. If you're like, I don't really enjoy coming to the net yet. I notice that when I come to the net, I lose a lot of points. So that's okay. So when you get this ball after your serve and you have an opportunity to get an approach shot, sometimes use what I call a fake approach shot or a chip and trap. Hit the ball short here. And if you watched my lesson yesterday, if you do a really good job, if you hit the ball well, and you're like, okay, that feels good. And then you see them running really fast. The faster they have to run, the more frantic their energy feels. They're not going to be able to do much with the ball when they get there. So you can stay in this area. You've got them trapped to where if they hit it up, you can volley it. Or sometimes they're just going to put it, here because they can't do much with the ball. And then you can come in and either go short to short. You have all kinds of options. You can even just take the easy route out and just lob right here down the line. That's probably the easiest thing you can do after that chip and trap. If you don't hit the ball so good or you see that they're on it early, then get back to neutral. If you hit it really, really bad, then get back to a defensive position and get ready to lob. All right, so that's what I want you to think about after you serve if you get a short ball. All right, now the next play I want you to work on, I would say people start getting pretty decent at poaching, entering a solid 4-0 level, but 3-5s, there's some people who are pretty good at poaching, but a lot of people need help. They need that feeling of confidence when they go. They don't want to mess up. So I really like to teach those people the GG 1-2-3 poaching formula. I got this from Gigi Fernandez, and she taught this to club players. She didn't really necessarily run this on the pro tour. She said this really worked for club players, and Gigi especially loves to teach a lot of 3-5. So listen up. So how does that work? You're going to pick ball number 1, ball number 2, or ball number 3 to go on if you are the net person right here. So let's just run a point just so we're crystal clear. Ball served in, and it's returned. Right? Now one ball is past this player. The ball is then returned back cross court, and now when this person gets ready to hit the ball, you want the net person to get right on that net strap, center net strap, and then the server must switch so that way the poacher has all the confidence knowing that, I haven't messed anything up for the person behind me. They're going to back me up. And just by doing that, all that commotion alone can make people make unforced errors. And it's just a lot easier to go, I'm just going to go. And if I go at the wrong time, it's not a big deal because my partner has my back. So try that 1-2-3 poaching formula. Also, here's another great tip. Let's say you're serving. This is you, and here's your partner, and you notice that the other team, especially one in particular player, they are just on fire hitting cross court. They're just on fire hitting cross court, and they're starting to dominate. They're hitting deep balls that that you guys are having trouble getting the next ball back. They're coming to the net and putting balls away. If you ever serve and volley, they're getting at your feet or they're passing you. If that is happening to you, then what I want you to think about is running the Aussie formation. It's different than the I formation. The I formation, you have to get basically on the line here and bend down. That's really hard for adults to do, to have to go down and then get up and then get ready for a volley. Aussie formation is really, really easy. So let me again just clear everything out. Okay. So here are your opponents. I want the server closer to the singles line. And then your partner is here. And then now you're taking away the cross court. And see, sometimes that's why it's important for you guys to communicate every point. Sometimes the person here at the net can say, you know what, I'm actually going to switch over to the deuce side. The serve's going to go in, I'm going to go to the deuce side. But just taking this away, now you're taking away that cross court ball. They go cross court at you. It's so easy for this net player to go short to short automatically. And then the server just moves over here and gets into a down the line rally. Do not come over here and hit cross court, because then now your partner is going to get crushed. So very important when you're running that to keep the ball down the line until you either get a short ball and come in, draw an unforced error, or your partner can get a ball to volley. Okay, so very, very important to run that, especially if you feel that you guys are getting crushed by cross-court returns. All right, here we go. the next thing that we're going to talk about is for serving teams is get good on the poach at reaching the net strap in 2 moves. So let's talk about the poach and poach timing. So let's just say this is you here. You want to get center box. You want to have some room to move up. Here's your partner serving. Here are your opponents. Okay? What you want to do is when you hear your partner hit the ball, you want to split step up a little bit. So you're kind of on your toes, and then you hear the hit, and I want you to split step up 1 step. So you take a mini split step up here. Okay? Now, what you want to do is feel the ball bounce, getting close to the opponent, and when the opponent starts to push their hip in, so you wait till the hip is pushed in, and then you go, right? So you don't want to go when they're here. You don't want to go as they're striking. You want to go just before they strike. It's here, and then they make that move. See that? See, now they've committed. That's when you go. And the way you go is you take the foot that's to the inside. You take 1 lunge step, and then you step across. So I'm going to take this leg. Here's the net strap right over here. I'm going to take this leg, I'm going to push it out, and then I'm going to take this leg, and I'm going to move across, and I should be able, with those 2 moves, I should be on the net strap. If you're not on the net strap, then that means you're probably moving too much this way. You got to really learn how to close in diagonally on the net strap. You should be able to do it in 2 moves when you start to go. If you can't do that, you're not leaving the right way. You're not using the right footwork. Okay, let's get to the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to have no long runs to the net from a serve or a return, all right? Instead, bring them in. So what do I mean by that? Another big mistake that club players make that you lose a lot of points at. 3-5s, I want you really developing your volley skills in this area of the court, okay? In the no man's land area, I want you to get comfortable in that transition, but you're probably not a master at it yet if you're playing 3-5. So what happens, I see lots of times, is somebody will hit a really weak, bloopy ball that bounces in the service box. And this person here knows it's an approach shot, and their eyes light up, but they want extra time. So maybe they only take 1 step here, and then they hit, and now they've got to run all this way to get to pole position. Well, somewhere around that run, usually what happens is as you're running in, this ball's already being struck, and you're getting lots of balls at your feet, okay? So what I want you to think about is balls that are weak, that you're still somewhere around here hitting the ball. This is where we want to run our trap play, right? I want you waiting till you get about here, just a little bit outside of the service line to hit your approach shots and come on in. So don't take the bait every time you're getting a weak ball and hitting and running a long way to the net. Let's go to the net when we only have to take 1 to 2 steps to get past the service line and get into pole position, okay? I'm telling you, if you just do that one little thing alone, you're going to notice a big difference in your ability to hold and break serve. So that goes whether you're on the serving side or the returning side. All right, the next thing we're going to work on is we're going to master the 3 golden returns on a second serve. Again, something if I'm a 3.5 player, I'm spending so much time on. So let's just clear everybody out. So we'll have you right here. You're getting a weak second serve. Here is your partner. I want you to master these 3 returns. I want you to run them in this exact order. You have your continental grip. We're going to do and you can either chip and charge or chip and trap. It's your decision each time. But I want your first start out chipping and aiming in the singles box, but trying to get that angle to bring them off the court. Now this way, this person has moved here. Now you and your partner can move up and challenge, and now this is wide open for a volley. So that's play number 1 I want you to work on the second serve. Play number 2 is I want you to hit it deep chip And you do that only after you notice that this server starts to cheat in and is on to you that you're hitting that shot. They got there early one time. Maybe they won the point. So as soon as that happens, you go, okay, now it's time to go to return number 2, which is chipping deep. And again, you can either come in, you can chip and charge, or you can just stay back. No problem either way. And then the third play I want you to do, and this is when the score gets really close, I want you to lob down the line on big points. And your technique is just using your shoulder or hands. It's just a volley technique. That's all it is right there. Okay? So that's what I want you to do. I want you to master those 3 golden returns. If you do that at 3-5, I'm telling you, you do not even need to hit over on the ball. You just don't. So get really good at it. Another thing I want you to master on your return, first and second serve, especially if you are good at topspin. So if you have a nice proficiency for topspin, I want you to master this return. You're here, and I want you to practice hitting a high, heavy return that bounces high. So lots of height, lots of spin. Again, when club players see something slow, they automatically think they have to hit it fast, and that's their best option. What typically happens is that's when you make your most unforced errors. You give the points away, and you also give your opponents a ball they like. I know you like to hit the ball fast, but guess what? Your opponents also like to receive pace. You know, if a ball's going 90 miles an hour, that's a different story. But most 3-5 players can't consistently hit a forehand 90 miles an hour like Carlos Alcaraz. So lots of times your pace shot that you think is so great is just coming right into their strike zone at the exact pace that they want it. All right, and they're going to start using that against you. So master I call it the ultimate rally ball return, to where it's high and heavy, it bounces and it bounces high. And even sometimes when you do that, you can come to the net because they're going to be up here, especially if you can get it on their backhand side. That's a great time to come in, because most likely they're going to bump the ball up. They're going to make a lot of unforced errors of that too. Okay, here's what I want you to do as well. When you are returning, you and your partner, if you feel comfortable talking to your partner, then you can tell them about this play. If not, then you just run it yourself. Once every 2 games, minimum, I want you lobbing your return down the line. Once every 2 games, and especially when the score gets to deuce or 30-40 or 40-30, right? Add in, add out. Those are the times that you want to run your lob down the line. All right. On big points, I want you to on big points count to 3, especially. So whether you're serving or returning, we want to keep the ball cross court. There's ball 1, your opponents hit it back. Now you hit ball 2, your opponents hit it back. Now it's ball 3, you hit it back cross court. If you've done that, win or lose, you've done your job, okay? Because now you've forced a 6-ball rally. So I want you doing that on big points as well, is making points go to 3, especially if you don't have an opportunity to chip and charge or chip and trap. If that play falls apart, then I want you to think, okay, this point's going to 3 balls on my side. No matter what, I'm going to force a 6-ball rally. Okay? So those are your rules for dominating your serve and return at 3-5. We'll be back tomorrow with on-court stuff, where I'm going to be going over footwork at your level to dominate.